Good morning, all. Thank you, Dr. Barrio, for the lucid explanation on the basics of OCT. We'll move ahead with the interpretation of this OCT printout. So there are different machines available in the market, and the most commonly and most popular one is the Cirrus Zeiss OCT. And now this is the printout that we come across very regularly and very commonly. There are other machines like RT-View. It has a very robust database of around 1600 patients, and that's why it is unique. And the other one and the latest one, which is Spectralis, it is supposed to be the most advanced and most accurate from the available machines. All these scans have a basic, normal, common principle, but the presentations are different and the printouts are seen differently. Today, for the sake of discussion, we will focus on one printout that is of Zeiss Cirrus, as it is very commonly seen. We can differentiate into different zones. Like first is the foremost the patient details, followed by the image quality. It should be more than or equal to 6. Then comes the first map, that is RNFL thickness map, followed by the RNFL deviation map. In the printout in the center, you can see the different parameters, the numbers, and it is very important to interpret these, not looking only at the colors. Following the parameters, the graphs of the neuroretinal rim thickness and RNFL thickness, along with that, the sectoral representation of this thickness in a sectoral as well as RNFL clock over pattern. It also depicts the tomogram landmarks and segmentation for accuracy. So there should not be any error in the segmentation. The first part is the patient details, the name and the other confirmatory information about the patient should be included in the data, as you want to follow up the same patient and have a same scans in the future. Comparison with the correct normative data can be done only if the date of birth or the age of the patient is entered correctly, as there is 0.2 micron per year decrease in the RNFL thickness, or you can say there is 2 micron per decade decrease in the RNFL loss. So the age is very important parameter here. Image quality should be looked upon to interpret the next maps. RNFL thickness map, it actually looks like a hourglass pattern, which is normal. As it was already said, that the darker or the hot colors are of thick RNFL, and bluer or cooler colors represent thin RNFL. Color scale should be seen on different scans, as it may differ for different machines. RNFL deviation maps, these are actually unique to Cirrus OCT and not available on any other platform. In the first part of this image, you can see this is a normal patient with no deviation from the normative database, and the spectrum slowly moves towards from glaucoma suspect to moderate glaucoma to the severe glaucoma. So in the last image, you can see there is diffuse RNFL thinning, and in the deviation map, red color represents the same. Disc and NFL parameters are present on the top of this printout, and these are also important. The disc area is always shown in gray in all printouts. Why? Because the normative database is not available for the disc area. In a patient with glaucoma, if you are seeing the values in red, you can always say that this is falling into a glaucoma category, comparing with the clinical findings and the HVF also. The RNFL symmetry, if it is normal, it should be close to 100%. But in the second image, you can see it is way below 100%. So you can always take this diagnosis towards glaucoma. In the third image, I would like to tell you that the disc area, if it is more than 3.5, 2.5, or 1. Or if it is less than 1.3, that is, if the disc area is very large or very small, then all other parameters are shown in gray. The normative database is not available for patients below 18 years of age. Coming to the next map, the NRR thickness graph and the RNFL thickness graph, there is a normal double hump pattern which is seen if the RNFL quadrant as well as RNFL clock hour are also represented. So the clock hour pattern will give you a focal loss in the RNFL of the patient. Tomogram landmass and segmentation errors should be taken care of because they can alter RNFL measurements. Red line represents ILM cup boundaries, while black line indicates disk boundaries and RPE. So this is a printout of a patient, and we can one by one interpret each map. The signal strength is very normal, so we can go ahead because this is reliable print. The first part is the RNFL thickness map, where you can see there is the hourglass pattern is lost, and there is shift of this pattern towards the nasal side. RNFL deviation map shows presence of inferior thinning of the RNFL, as well as in the center you can see the RNFL thickness and NRR thickness has decreased and gone into the red zone. That means it is less than 1% of the database. Even though the sectoral quadrants are green and normal, but the focal areas, while it is in RNFL clock hours, the focal areas are showing thinning in the inferior part. Spectralis printout is also similar, but it is very easy to interpret these printouts if you are well versed with Cirrus. So Cirrus, you can keep it as basic, and the other printouts are similar to Cirrus. Next, coming to the ganglion cell analysis, where there is GCC IPL thickness map, and it has an elliptical measured annulus centered on fovea. Deviation map is also there, and most important is the average and minimal ganglion cell layer plus the inner plexiform layer thickness data. It shows average as well as minimum thickness data, as seen in this example of this patient. The right eye is normal, but in the left eye, the average GCC IPL thickness, even though it is normal, the minimum GCC IPL thickness in the inferior part is very much decreased. We can consider that this patient might be developing glaucoma and is very much early in the early stages of glaucoma. The ganglion cell analysis for Spectralis and Cirrus is different because Spectralis takes into consideration the whole thickness of the retina, while in Cirrus there is GCC and IPL is only considered. In OptoView, nerve fiber layer is also included in the ganglion cell analysis. So this should be kept in mind. Glaucoma progression analysis on OCT is a very important tool because it is a very sensitive tool, and we can pick up glaucomas in a very early stages. The baseline examination with dates, there are 2 baseline examinations done apart, at least from 1 or 2 months of time duration. This baseline, if it is reliable, then the other scans can be compared with these 2 baseline images. In the center, there are parameter trained plotted over time. The average, superior, inferior, NFL thickness, and the CD ratio are plotted in these graphs, and the trained pattern is obtained. You can see it is decreased slowly. I will wrap it fast, only 2 slides. Glaucoma progression analysis is the printout of the patient. The parameter of different numbers and parameters are included in the GPA, and you can see the inferior nerve fiber layer is decreased slowly over a period of time, and it is shown in red. So OCT provides an excellent opportunity to study RNFL objectively, which adds to diagnostic evidence, and glaucoma progression can be quantified in serial scans. Glaucoma should never be diagnosed in isolation based on only OCT, and clinical correlation as well as structure function correlation should be done. Thank you.